Assalamu alaikum, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Carl Kennelly, and my Muslim name is Ali. I originate from the Cheshire part of the UK. My family's religious background isn't very it's kind of building agnostic really. I come from that kind of background where there was no religion at all. Being perfectly honest about that. I'm married with a child, I've got a reigning wife, and my work is as a pharmaceutical manager. Basically, we're non-existent, I have to be honest about that also. I was brought up in kind of a Catholic background, but we didn't practice it. There was nothing to be involved at all. So basically, just up until 7 years ago, before I converted, there was nothing. Around 7 years ago when I converted to Islam, my life was kind of going down an abyss. It was going nowhere. There was no kind of continuity in my life. Certain aspects of my life I wasn't happy with. I wasn't progressing as I should have done, spiritually, mentally. Fitra and primordial nature was kind of non-existent really. So I was looking for something at that time to sort of broaden my horizons and move forward, which is why I found Shia Islam, alhamdulillah. Again, quite prejudiced, very sort of ignorant really, I have to be honest about that as well. I had no idea really, I only seen what I've seen on the news worldwide, a false perception of Shia Islam, which is completely wrong now. I'm a converted Muslim. Very much so in the UK, it's very much the not favours of the Middle East, kind of, as we all know, in the West. It's kind of negative view of Islam, not just Islam, people that live in Middle East as it is anyway. So it was a great, when I converted to Islam, it was a fantastic journey for me in terms of how I feel now as a Muslim, and how I feel about Middle Eastern people. It's a fantastic journey I'm on now, alhamdulillah. I met my wife 7 years ago. At the time of marriage, I converted to Islam. That's when it started, and since then I've not looked back. Every year's gone more and more progressive, more and more into my faith, more and more pray and du'as, more and more invocations. Basically, each day is going further and further to Islam, which I'm really happy about. Alhamdulillah, subhanallah. So I was living in the UK. I was living in the Stockport area. I was around 45 years of age at that time. Met my wife, and then the journey continued from there, really, started from there. No, I kind of was drawn to it. It's very hard to explain how it happened for me. It's a very beautiful experience. I wasn't one day sort of said I'm going to be a Shia Muslim. It kind of a progression. I was pulled along by a magnet. I can only describe it as being an absolute great force. Subhanallah. Being pulled along by that and then learning, and then I got friends with the Hujjatul Islam called Mr. Muhammadian, based in Manchester Islamic Centre. Now he's based in Birmingham Islamic Centre. I've kept friends with him a long time, and he's taught me many things. So now I know that, inshallah, I'm on the right path. I would say my friend Hujjatul Islam mainly has a big role in that. You know, developing me in terms of, but I kind of found it myself. I wasn't really, I could read the Quran, I read the Quran every day. I follow lots of different online majalis. I go to mosque very regularly as well, or was before the COVID. So I found my own sort of path, as I said before. I was pulled along. I had no control over it, which is absolutely fantastic for me. To where I am now to what I was 7 years ago, a completely different person. My life has turned from there, basically, to there. It's unbelievable magical experience, subhanallah. Analysed a lot 7 years ago. I don't know why it was 7 years ago, and God knows that. Subhanallah. I didn't know why at the 7 years ago it was like that, but it's amazing. I'm laughing now because it's a very fantastic feeling I have. As I said before, I had no control over it. It's just gone more and more in progression, built up over these years to the point now where my whole day is structured around my faith. not the other way around. To me, Shia Islam is a much more moderate kind of faith. I don't want to mention other faiths because that's other people's kind of beliefs and other people's followings, and I'm not prejudiced at all about that. But for me, because my wife's Shia Islam as well, and my wife's family based in Tehran in Iran, their faith is Shia Islam as well. Hudat al-Islam is a Shia Muslim as well, so it was that kind of path for me. I just follow that kind of way. I can't really explain why I did that, it just felt right for me. To be honest, no, I didn't, because I didn't really, for some reason, that path wasn't open to me. Only Shia Islam and Shia Islam alone was the way I progressed. I think everything's for a reason. We're on this earth for a reason, and I don't think that it wasn't coincidence at all. It's just a case of the right place, the right time. This experience for me is absolutely magical. I just found one day, I met my wife, and she sort of kind of got me into, she was very tentative at first, my wife, bless her, because she didn't realise me being an English man, whether I would accept it. She kind of guided me a little bit into the certain tenets of the faith by reading the Quran, how I should pray, how I should pay salah, how I should do as invocations and so on. But it was down to me I was asking her loads of questions. She got a bit stressed because she didn't realise I was going to take it being an English man, but alhamdulillah, it all worked out. So as I say, every single day is progressing further and further. I do good deeds, it's amazing. Mainly through the Quran, reading the Quran several times. I read it every single day. There's a lot of different interpretations each time I read it of different ayahs. It's very, very, from one day it sounds different to the next. It's so unbelievable. But I think in terms of, I was going to Majalis, I was following Hudat al-Islam, and I was also watching Sayyid Madam Madaresi and other great scholars and Sayyids online, on YouTube, and learning their take on Islam, Shia Islam, and learning so much. It just snowballed. So basically the knowledge I have now is nothing really, nothing, but it's just progression, as I said before, and learning those things off those great scholars. May Allah bless them all. As I said previously, my life went down an abyss 7 years ago. I wasn't heading anywhere in any direction at all in my life. My job wasn't very good. My self-esteem wasn't very good. I wasn't a happy person at all. And just, alhamdulillah, one day I met my wife, and it went from there really. And I got into Shia Islam. As I said, 7 years ago was when it all changed for me, completely from being like that, with my life going nowhere, to the way it is now. Completely different turnaround of events. I can only explain it as that really. And going into Shia Islam, it's just the right time for me. I mean, I read the Quran and I burst into tears one day, absolutely into tears, and then I did Salat and just cried all the way through Salat, and I realised that the words that are recited in Arabic in Maghrib and Isha Salah, for example, all the Salahs that I do every day, they really, really reached me, and that really made me, and especially during Azan time, being called to prayer, that was really a profound moment for me to realise, yeah, this is the way for me, this is the path for me, inshallah. I do recite a passage of that every day. It's only a small passage. I don't recite all of it, but I've come across that recently actually, since Sayyid Mati, bless him, mentioned it in one of the theology classes that I do with the Hausa, John the Martyr Academy, which bless all brothers and sisters on there as well, and all the Sayyids involved in that. But that was when a turning point for me was when I've been doing Hausa, and I started picking up certain du'as I wasn't doing before, especially that du'a I'm doing now, but it's only a small passage I recite every day. Yeah, I do that. Basically, the online house is John the Martyr Academy, and that's run from April of this year. We started off doing a pre-Hausa course, which is incorporated like theology, jurisprudence, eschatology, and so on. And then it's gone broader now into the actual Hausa, and we're doing that on a regular basis. Because Arbein now and Ashra, It's stopped at the moment, but it will resume again inshallah in November. But that's regular 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 lectures per week, and it's online, and you just study on there, submit notes, and the sayers bless them, they mark them, and give us feedback. I think it's beautiful because I know that studying Hausa is either in Mashhad or it's in Najaf and so on. Shia Islam, a dear friend, he's studied it for 20, 30 years, full-time every single day, gave his life to it, to the point now obviously he's a qualified scholar, bless him. But for me, I'm just touching it. This Hausa itself is only a kind of an insight. It's not a full-time Hausa. It's the basics to function in the outside world. And we have it in Zaman alayhi salam, inshallah. But what I'm doing is a basis of it. So when it's a 4-year course, inshallah, when that course is ended, maybe, hopefully I can go out and teach and help other people with my experiences, my feelings, my way of coming to this religion, my own interpretation of helping them on the path. Inshallah, that's the way I view it. That's what I want to do, to give back. I've been given so much by Allah, so much by the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. I want to give something back. That's why I want to do these things. First of all, I started tentatively getting into it. I was thinking, how can I worship something I cannot see? I'm being honest about that. How can I give my trust, my complete submission to a huge being, a creator that I cannot see? It took me a while to get my head around that. But one day it just clicked. I just immersed myself fully into this. Again, I can't tell you how or why. It just happened on that particular time. I can't even say exact day or when. It just happened to the point where I just completely submit, completely give my life fully to Allah. Because He created me, created all of us. We're all accountable for our actions and all accountable for the sins and transgressions we do, and also the good deeds that they do as well. So basically, yeah, that's basically what's happened for me. Many tests, many trials, many tribulations, because my family not being any way religious at all, they found it very hard for me. So why have I adapted, why have I changed my whole way of thinking, my own persona, my own perception of life by becoming a Shia Muslim? My own brother doesn't want to speak to me now, which is very sad. It's heartbreaking, very sad. My parents, beautiful parents, alhamdulillah for them. I see them regularly. They have regular contact with my son and my wife and myself, but they can't accept the person I am now in terms of why I've turned to religion. It doesn't sit well with them. And also my colleagues at work, there's very few Muslims at work. So most of them are English people, as myself, but again, none of them accept. When I fast in Ramadan, they ask, why are you fasting? Why are you doing this? It's because it's my faith, it's my religion, that's what I want to do. So I've had much oppression, my wife also, in lots of different ways, profound, large and small ways. Even the neighbours around where we live, it's a very English sort of area, and they don't accept. They're nice to us, but we can tell they don't accept us. It's been very debilitating, to be fair, at times. But I always know that God's always there. Ahlul Bayt is always there, inshallah. So I always call on to God in difficult times, as my wife does as well. But they've been so challenging and so self-deprecating, really, at times, because the way you get spoken to a wife wear hijab, sometimes she gets pressured for that when she's out shopping. She gets slanderous words thrown at her. I get a lot of slander thrown at me when they know that I'm doing what I'm doing. So yeah, it's been times of very great hardship, and my own brother even questions why. You know, he's saying to me, why are you a Shia Muslim? Why are you doing this? So, well, because it's made me, I have to say to everyone that they question me, it's made me into a much better person than I ever was. I was always a good person, but I realise now that I have much to correct about myself by turning to this faith. And since I've turned to this faith, it's given me such a broad understanding. And my primordial nature and fitra has become 20/20 vision, whereas before was completely immersed and it was completely dissipated. There was nothing there. Yes, indeed. My wife, for one, obviously. Shia Islam, very supportive of me because he knows the downfalls in this country, what can happen. Also my wife's family in Tehran. They've always been very supportive to me. They love me as I love them. Very, very welcoming and supportive of me. And also when I've been to Majalis in Fan Hodatal's centres, always been very welcoming towards me, always helped me, always guided me and supported me, because they know how hard it can be sometimes for converts. How extensive is the Shia community for me? They've been very, very welcoming, so warm. I've never met such wonderful people in every way. I've not met one person that I think he's not nice or she's not a nice person. They've all been very wonderful, as you are, my brother. So they've all been very welcoming, beautiful towards me. They've taught me so much. I'm always there for them. I'd die for them, basically. I'd die for this religion now. I think my job now is to spread the word, which I'm trying to do this on this programme, in terms of my beautiful journey to this, because I think a lot of people could be tentative. Maybe some people in my culture and my country want to revert or convert, but they don't feel they can push the boat out to do that. They might have some misconceptions as I did. My advice to them is just open your heart, open your soul, and follow what your path is, follow what your destiny is, inshallah, as I did. Yeah, there's one point that comes to mind. Obviously, most of the majalis I've been to are all in either Farsi or Arabic. I don't speak either language. I'm endeavouring to learn these languages, inshallah, but it's been struggling at some points to try and understand. So I've been sat there in majalis trying to understand what they're saying. People have been sat next to me that speak English and sort of, explaining as they went along, as Hudatul is doing the lecture. But still, I would like to have understood it there and then. But that's kind of my failing, really, I would have thought, not learning Arabic or Farsi. But if one criticism I would have thought really was, could they do the majalis in English sometimes? A lot of I've been to haven't done that. But it works both ways, and I should learn the languages, I guess, and I should put more time in learning, speaking in English. Misconceptions I had before converting to a Shia Islam was, as I said earlier, I was prejudiced. I was ignorant. I wasn't even wanting to know about that kind of life, not religious at all. 7 years ago, that was my ignorance, my unknowing, my lack of understanding, really. I should have, because I know Shia Islams in particular are very oppressed people, or they can be, more than probably Sunni. They're very only a minority religion, Shia. That's why, one of the reasons why as well, I converted to Shia Islam, because they need more and more people to join this faith, inshallah. So the misconceptions I had and prejudices were unfounded. They were really unrealistic. I didn't give it any time at all. Now, since I converted to Islam, it's turned on its back completely, because I now realise what pressure myself and other Shia Muslims are in, how much depression it's a beautiful religion, it's a very rewarding religion, it's a great aspect, but there's also a lot of underlying issues that go on in society, and I'd love to be able to correct them myself, but it's impossible for one person to do that. But the way I view Shia Islam now is, my question is, why did I convert 30 years ago? Why was it 7 years ago? If I converted many, many years ago before then, I would have done. But obviously the right time for me was 7 years ago. Only God knows that, inshallah. People misview and misconceive Shia Islam and all Islam as being terrorism. People I know, people I've worked with, colleagues I've had in the past, even members of my own family have viewed Shia Islam, all Islam, as being terrorism. And that really didn't sit well with me. But I was thinking, yeah, they could be right. This is before I converted. But since I converted, I realised it's absolutely not the case. Nothing does it say in the Quran anywhere where God has put in the Quran anything about killing people in the name of religion. I've read it 20 times now, mashallah. And I keep reading it every day, and I know that nothing in that Quran says, this blessed Quran says those things. So where people get that mentality, I just do not know. The journey I've been on is absolutely magical, spiritual. There's things I cannot explain that's happened to me during this conversion, during this 7 years that I never thought would ever happen. Just amazing feelings, spiritual feelings that I never thought I'd ever witness. And to people, my soul and fitra is wide open to all these things now. I accept everything. I submit fully to my religion and fully to God and to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. But my advice to any brothers and sisters that's wanting to convert or feel already a born Shia, who am I to say these things, but just open your heart, open your soul, and be more receptive to what's going on around you. Because I can speak firsthand of this as a very closed person, very closed book, but this religion is so vast, makes you so wide open, so receptive to what is in this world. The creation of Allah is immeasurable, it's vast, the universe is mind-boggling. Even down to the food I eat, the water I drink, putting one foot in front of the other, brushing my teeth, everything is from Allah. Without those small things, I wouldn't survive. Never mind the massive blessings I give me, my wife and my child, my faith. Everything is a complete blessing. And also, I treat hardships and tribulations as blessings also, because they're there for a reason. The reason why God guides us in this path and to these directions is for our own good, even though we don't think so at the time. The best way to tackle a problem in your brain, if you're feeling any misconceptions or any kind of prejudged way of, you're not sure about going forward in this, just do it. Don't even think about it, because I didn't even think about it. I just got on and did it, and I've not looked back. Alhamdulillah. These 7 years have been the best of my life. I owe it all to God. I really do. But I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there that got a lot of knowledge, done many years of study. I know that. I know a lot haven't. A lot like me and you to it. Just don't hold back. I think going to many majalis I know it's difficult during COVID, but as much online, as much on, say, if Maddy Modaresi, for example, on all his brothers and his cousins, they do many on majalis online. They're worth watching. You can gain more of an insight into the religion of Islam. Also, when inshallah COVID lifts, going back to live majalis is an even better way of learning, even though, as I said, I struggle with the language. That's another way of getting involved with the community, to learn off people who have already been doing this a long time that can guide you, as did for me. Luckily, I met Shia Islam, a very knowledgeable man, bless him. He's guided me so much. He's such a great friend of mine now. He did my marriage, and my conversion as well. So we go back 7 years now. He's such a long time, and he done a lot for my child. He blessed my child. There's many things he's done. I owe it a lot to him for guiding me. But if you can get to know someone like that, a community alim or a community hudatul, that's a very good way to get into the fold of a community that can guide you, whether you're English or whether you're whatever nationality you are, or whether you're born Muslim, doesn't matter. Just to be involved in a community is a great way to meet people, and like-minded people. Because now for me, I feel less English now than I've ever done. I feel much more Middle Eastern, because I do, because my wife is Iranian, most of my family's Iranian, and mashallah. But I think the best way really is just immerse yourself into that environment, which is what I did. And all your preconceptions, you don't feel alone, even though I feel alone with other parts of my life, with colleagues and my English family, bless them. They don't see what I can see. They don't know what's ahead of the future, and I worry for that. One of my biggest endeavours I want to do hopefully in this next year, is bring my blessed parents' eyes towards his faith, if I can. They're not religious at all. I've got a mountain to climb, and inshallah God helps me to do this, but they don't believe at all. But inshallah, if I can guide them in any way to turn their eyes towards this religion, I know it's my obligation to do it, it's my duty to do this. I don't want them to go off this world one day, bless them, into the afterlife and not knowing what they should know. And I'll be questioned for that on the day of judgment. I know that as well. I'll be punished for that. I don't want that to happen. I want to do it now while they're still here, bless them, because they're beautiful parents. I can't say it enough. And in the Quran always says, bless your parents, always put your parents above everything, you know, treat them like kings and queens, basically. So they're very big on my heart, and they've been very good to me, my wife and child. But I just want to do something for them now to turn them, inshallah, towards his faith. That's a big thing for me. They'll have a lot of misconceptions, they'll have a lot of prejudices, they'll have a lot of, probably more than me, set in their ways about why should I do this. Even if they don't do it, at least they've tried to do it. At least they've tried to turn their eyes towards this. At least I've acknowledged it. Even if they don't decide to go forward with it, hopefully they do, inshallah they do. But to brothers and sisters again, please enroll in this course, or a course, this Hausa course. John the Martyr, go online, type in John the Martyr Academy, and I'll come up with this beautiful course. There's many people enrolled already. The very fulfilling course, you'll learn a lot. It's very communal. There's a Telegram group that you go on. There's many brothers and sisters on there, all passing comments, all talking, all learning each other, and that's another big way of interacting and a way of feeling close to people that you wouldn't normally feel close to, or you don't feel isolated anymore. There's another thing with Islam as well. I felt isolated for several years because no one follows the path that I follow apart from the people, my family, my wife, my child, and my Iranian family. No one else follows it in here. So I'm very isolated, and I could never explain to people why I became a Muslim, and I had to hide from some people why I'm a Muslim. You know, it's a very difficult situation to be in, but I've risen above that. Everyone knows now. Alhamdulillah for that. I don't have to hide anymore. Why should I hide? You know, what reason to hide is there really? You know, it's just a beautiful path to be on. And again, brothers and sisters, please, if anyone you feel isolated out there or feel alone or don't know what to do, join courses like this or go to your local majalis and meet people and talk to them, interact, because it'll really lift you and bring you up. And obviously, above all, call on to God. Every day, when I've got a problem or I feel down, I feel sad or oppressed, even when I'm happy, in good times and bad times, it's for all, not just for one. When I need anything, when I don't need things, I still call on to God, because that connection every day is that rope, that little divine rope that I keep hold of, hanging on that rope, that God's taking me everywhere, inshallah. But also reciting du'as like Dua had, keeping connection with Lord Imam Zaman alayhi salam. That's another way of the Imam of our time, bless him. I know he's an occultation, and I really feel my problems are insignificant, absolutely nothing compared to what, bless him, he's going through. In Ashra, Lord Imam Hussain alayhi salam, what he's had to face, all his family in Karbala, all his followers, all people martyred like Muqta, Muslim, Ibrahim, bin Karmal, all those people that helped after Imam Hussein's demise, bless him. So, and one day I wish to go to Karbala and do more things in, Ziyarah. I've been to Imam Reza's shrine. Amazing spiritual experience that was, and that was another turning point for me. Imam Reza's shrine. So that was in Mashhad, that was another turning point for me when I went there a few years ago, my wife, because it was about 3 years ago now, and my spirituality went up several notches after that, because I went into the shrine and I came out spiritually cleansed. It was an unbelievable, unexplainable experience when I was going through in the Azan time, being pulled along the town. Whoever's been to Mashhad knows the town is a beautiful town, and the mosque dominates the landscape. And as Azan's being called, you're walking along to that, and there's such a shivering feeling. Going to some great power was amazing. How the community pray, did all that, and the feeling I had from that day forth was just complete spiritual turnaround. Before then, when I converted, was that, but even more so now. So I've got much to be thankful for. Again, though, I can't emphasize enough, anyone that feels isolated, whoever they are in this world, just keep your faith, keep strong in all adversity, because you do get support, you do get help. Divine support, divine knowledge is there for those that seek it. If their soul is open, they'll receive it, inshallah. Who am I to say? But from my experiences, the help is there. You have to believe, you have to follow. But also people are there as well. There's many beautiful people in these mosques that you can go and talk to, and alims and hudatuls and so on. I've always been taught, though, that all the 12 infallible imams are all one, okay? But for me, Imam Reza, alayhi salam, because he's now buried in a strange land, And I came from the UK to his majalis, to his shrine in a strange land. And I relate so much to Imam Reza, the plights he went through. I know they've all been through terrible, terrible circumstances, but for some reason, when I think of Imam Reza, I get tears in my eyes. Imam Hussein, again, they're all of them. Imam Hussein really touches me. What he went through, I can't imagine the unfathomable pain he went through on that day of Ashura, bless him. I feel emotional now talking about it, because he lost his family one by one, and then he's on his own in the battlefield. And if I just want to jump into that time. I know I can't wield a sword, but to give my life, to shield those arrows from him. I know it sounds stereotypical, I know many people have said that, but I feel really that I would love to have helped on that day. Anything I could do for that blessed Imam, I would do. But again, the Imam of our time, I know I'm saying more than one, but there are many that I follow. But Imam Zaman alayhi salam, he has got all of this on his shoulders in occultation. He faces all this, he must be crying constantly. And again, my problems, my wife's problems, my family problems are nothing in comparison to his. Nothing at all. Pales in significance. And I just wish, I know it sounds crazy, but when I'm talking to him, inshallah he's listening, I ask if he's being fed well, I ask if he's in safety. I know he's not in peace, bless him. I know his soul's not in peace. And I hope one day I can join his army. I know this sounds very pretentious and why should he pick me? I'm nothing. And my son as well, inshallah, my little son, Ari Hamadi, my little 10-month-old son, when he becomes a man, inshallah, he's worthy of being part of Imam Zaman's army, inshallah. That is a greatest wish of mine, because I do anything I can to assist that Imam. He needs it so much. I know he needs all the people he can get, because there's so much oppression in this world now, from all different factions, all different denominations, that anything I can do in any small way is nothing but just to be there. And now my name is Carl Ali. I have a Muslim name. His Shia Muslim name is Ali now. I did that for Lord Imam Ali alayhi salam, to become closer. So all of them really.